Hello, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Arma 3 Singleplayer Antistasi. Now, I'm sure the vast majority of this community and then the people that like this game know that you can play Antistasi multiplayer and have done so at one point or another, or at least know about the mod. And I'm sure most people also know that you can play it single player as well, but I've made so many videos in the Arma 3 Serbia community with various missions, with public server, etc, etc. This is something I haven't covered, and I figure it might just interest a couple of people, so let's get into it, shall we? First of all, what is Antistasi? Well, it's a game mode, a sandbox game mode, where you play as the insurgency fighting against an occupying force and an invading force, should you choose to enable it, and your main objective is to free the country. How do you do that? Well, you take over every factory, every outpost, and every airbase and seaport in the region. The towns themselves, you don't have to conquer, they will flip to your side eventually, but even if they don't, they are not... Oh, and every resource point as well. Forgot about those. They will flip eventually, but even if they don't influence the win condition. And then that's about it, although this can be tweaked to some extent as well, requiring to have a lot of political support, etc, etc. It's very customizable, and I don't want to get into it right now, but the TLDR of it is this box, and where is he? This man, called Petros. Now, he gives you missions to go on, and you fulfill those missions, you get money, and then you buy NPCs to garrison the towns and outposts that you've conquered, and then you can also use that money to buy equipment, vehicles, weapons, etc, etc. Well, today, we're going to play single player, and we're going to see just what this is all about. First and foremost, I've played a little bit of single player already, and I have unlocked a number of different things in the arsenal. As you can see, I had some good hunting in the last few days. So how exactly do you play this single player? Well, what I like to do first and foremost is pick up one of these combat recovery kits or, if the game permits, a med kit, but I can't pick it up because I have 2 of these FIM missiles. Tell you what, I don't need 2. Plus, I'm pretty sure the FIM missiles are infinite, right? Yeah, I have them unlocked. Okay, so we're going to take a medkit. And then, considering I have no money, we're going to go over to the commander section. And we're going to grab a little bit of cash from the faction reserve for our personal use. Now, share faction money does the job, I suppose, although we can also just then donate like 75% of it, so I have just a little bit that I need. You go over to the flag, and then let's recruit a rifleman, a medic, an automatic rifleman, a sapper, a grenadier, and a light AT specialist. That's 7 people that we've recruited, and I am number 8. Alright, all things considered, here's our little guerrilla force, not too bad. And then we're going to open up the garage. And let's take a look. I reckon we can grab probably one of the Urals or the Kamaz, right? Yeah, we can grab the Ural. So here it is, here's the Ural truck, plop it down, and then we control the squad. And if you've ever played single-player Arma in terms of the campaign, the official campaigns of the game, then the controls will be very familiar to you. But you control this squad, and then we're going to get them all on board. Now, as you can see, the guy that made this mod is a genius. And he made it so that when you're undercover, the NPCs around you will put away their weapons and gear. Oh yes, they thought of even that, believe it or not. Now, to be fair with you, why exactly the last guy over there is not getting inside the vehicle is a bit beyond me, but let's try and order him again. Maybe he'll get on right now. Yes, yes. Alright, he's in. Lovely. Let's go. So, what are we going to do? Well, there is this radio tower over here that's nice and lonely. We can go and attack it. So let's do that for this video and showcase how this works. I'm just going to grab my Ural. Now, I didn't bring a box with me, the loot box, which is all important. Essentially, it's costs $100. It's an item that you buy. You can put it inside the truck, or you can, I think technically you can drag it with the truck as well. You can put it in the cargo of the truck. And the point of that item is, as soon as you pull it out, you dump it on the floor and you hold space over it, you can use that truck, you can use that box to grab all the... Let's get out. And as you can see, the moment we're not undercover, they do their thing as well, and grab their weapons and all that good stuff. Lovely. And I think it's the circle that gets them to follow you, right? Yeah, there you go. So let's do that. And we're about to attack this outpost up here. Now, every time you're going to play single player, of course, you're going to be on the commander slot, so you will have both the powers of a medic and the powers of an engineer. Now, I'm not going to try and win all these firefights solo. I'm going to let the AI do a lot of the fighting, if at all possible. Let's just sprint on ahead. And see how the AI does. Obviously, they haven't been very well trained. These are still beginner level bots that I'm fighting with. And, oh, we have a man down. Number 4 is injured. Let's go to him. Now, where is he? We've lost a man, folks. I don't like losing people. I've just been injured as well. I'm playing this particular single-player version without the ACE medical mod. Or I've enabled ACE, but I've disabled the medical aspects or components of the ACE mod. Now, I do believe 4 is just injured. Yeah, he's not down, he's just injured. Okay. Right, there's another one down. I'll tell you what, let's send them forward. Assault that position, please. I believe one of our guys just went down, so we're going to go over and revive him. And he's back in the fight. As a medic, I can do that. And obviously with something like Ace Medical, you're going to have a lot more fun reviving him, but it is a little bit more challenging as well, and a little bit more time consuming. So for single player, isn't really my thing, shall we say? Oh god, the ear ringing is getting to me. Now, when you're injured, the medic of the team will also come and patch you up, which I think is pretty funny and cute in a way as well, because the little AI medic is going to save you. And I keep getting hit for some reason. Oh, and donate to the faction because I don't want to lose all this money. And there you go, we have a man down, and as you can see, the guy next to me pulled him back, because they can do that, and he's now healing him, because, you know, they can do that too. Pretty interesting, right? So, obviously, this interaction with the AI and everything pales in comparison to the real thing when you're playing against... when you're playing with actual people, as a part of especially a larger community with, say, 15, 20 plus people on the server at a time. Things get a lot more chaotic, things get a lot more interesting, but there is, I want to say, a reason to play this as well. And I'm going to get into that right now. So, one of the reasons, if you will, one of the beneficial aspects of playing like this is you don't have to coordinate with other people. You can play when you want. Doesn't matter if it's 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. or any sort of hour in between the two. Single player obviously has its benefits, and having AI to play around with you like this and not having to do everything solo is, well, better than the alternative, I would say, if nothing else. But then on top of that, there is also another interesting aspect that I think a lot of people don't consider, and that is you can create little mini missions and roleplay a hell of a lot more than if you have to coordinate with like 20 people. And that's something I want to showcase as well. So this is obviously the simplest thing I can do, which is gather a group of 7 insurgents and try and storm a radio tower that's being defended by the government forces and the army. That's relatively simple, right? We can do that, but that's relatively simple. You can do a lot more complex stuff. You can do missions, convoy ambushes, etc., etc. You can do them solo. You can lay down a minefield and have the enemy step on it, and it's very fun, let me tell you, especially because you have to wait for the convoy to go past, or you can ambush patrols and do stuff like that. You can do basically the entire beginning of the Antistasi mod in a extremely quiet and sort of guerrilla fashion. And then once the enemy is weakened, and once you've secured enough resources, you can move on from there and you know, obviously do your thing afterwards. Now, I believe most of my team is now injured at this point. Which is a crying shame, if you ask me. And these guys just aren't going down. I still have 2 guys fighting with me. And then, on top of that, if you are new to the game, you can also tune the AI difficulty to your liking, and set them, as I have, to a rather low level of skill, to where they're going to have a hard time hitting the broadside of a barn most of the time. However, as you can see, they do eventually find their mark. Now, interesting thing, sort of more in-depth going into this, right? The AI will come and help you. You can also heal yourself, as I've just done, as you can see. So, I've healed myself, I'm back in the fight, and I'm dead again. That's a shame. Alright, Vladimir Akulov is coming to help me. Now, what I can do is I can take control of dear Vladimir, and I believe he's healing himself now, which is, you know, obviously, there is a set amount of time that you need to, well, you can control the AI for. After that, you return to your own body, but that's okay. And then he heals you. And then you're back in the fight. So you temporarily take control of the AI to do that. Or you just let them come and revive you. Obviously, I'm going to then patch up the rest of my guys as much as I can. I need to get more rifles into the fight. that was an enemy I patched up. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Empty. Okay, tell you what, we're gonna... Oh, I don't have any smoke grenades, that's a shame. Yeah, it looks as though most of my guys went down up here. Let's get them back into the fight. They are down for only a limited amount of time. After that, they're permanently deceased, shall we say. Although, as you saw, one of the really good things is that they will revive each other. Now, I also noticed that they will shoot prisoners of war. Which is a problem if you know anything about Antistasi. It's a pretty big problem, in fact. Shooting enemies of war is a sure way of, well, nuking your odds at doing anything useful. Semi-permanent and or... If you can please stop dropping grenades. On top of my head, that will be lovely. But there you go. We've now conquered the radio tower, more or less. We just need to clean it up. And get rid of the rest of these enemies. And we have secured ourselves an APC. Unfortunately, it's not armed, but what can you do? And then on top of that, we also have tow launcher and a bunch of enemy equipment that we can seize as soon as the war is... I was going to say as soon as the war is over. Not as soon as the war is over, but as soon as the fighting is over. Let's get this guy back in the fight as well. Now, alternatively, you can do this completely solo, and it is doable. However, you will occasionally get downed, and it's a problem to pick yourself back up. You can do it once, but outside of that, you're going to need external help. Now, the external help is not exactly easy to come by, but there are ways around it as well. This command will just get you back up. If you're injured, it'll heal you. Now, is it cheating? Yes, absolutely, but there's a reason this is single player, right? You know what I mean? And so we're gonna get rid of the last of the enemy fighters and take control of this place. Alright, now because they shot one of the POWs, I need to release all the hostages ASAP. Try and lower that aggression a little bit. At least a little bit before we do anything else. I'm also completely out of ammunition, but more on that later. And there we go. Mission complete. Now, like I said, I cannot understate the... I cannot overstate, quite the opposite, really, the amount of fun I've had with this mod doing the little side missions and the little role-playing bits. For example, you would imagine that an anti-insurgency force such as the enemy would care a lot about their vehicles and helicopters and stuff. Well, one of my favourite things to do is not actually to play the mod and the scenario with the purpose of winning it, but just to do fun little things like raids on enemy air bases. Now, this gets them very upset, obviously, but given the fact that when you... this is easier to explain if you're experienced with Antistasi, but even if you're not, just bear with me. There are ways of replenishing your ammunition and repairing your vehicles and refueling them that is eventually free. You need to work for it, but eventually there is a way to do it so that it's completely free. Once you get to that point, one of the most fun things I've done in this game is pick up tanks, vehicles, guided ATGMs, anything along those lines, really, and use them to do raids on enemy positions, shoot down a couple of helicopters, weaken the enemy faction, and that actually, to an extent, works. There is some point in doing that. Weakening the enemy does lower their support, well, the support that they enjoy from the civilian population, and it will increase your support. There are more efficient ways of doing it, but like I said, it does help, among other things. And so you are kind of sort of progressing the game, but at the same time you're doing, you know, a lot more as well. Okay, can I drag this? Yes, I can. I would very much like to... in fact, no, I don't need to drag it, I need to carry it. Because carrying it is faster than dragging it. I didn't take this outpost with any serious intent of holding it. So I'm struggling with my words. The main reason I did it was to grab the vehicles and sort of showcase what I'm doing, but well, still, there you go. That is going to be immensely useful for the future. And tell you what, we can't really afford to put a garrison here at this point. We're fairly low on manpower. Okay, what's in the inventory for us? Lots of things, most of them very useful. Okay. APC spotted. Do we know where? Not quite. Alright, lovely. Yeah, I really don't know where. Okay, so we're just going to drop this. And I'm going to get the Stinger missile ready. Oh, you want me to defend the village? Yeah, about that. You can hear the firefight. They're attacking the village where we had some troops defending it, and they are going to take the village. Yikes. Well, part of the reason why you don't do that. Dear teammates, and by that I mean shoot at enemy POWs, because they will get very upset if you do. Anyways, like I said, the main reason I did this was for the equipment, because the equipment is what I need. And so we're going to just dump out the rangefinders. Could grab this entire box. It is useful. Don't get it. Twisted, but at the same time, I don't need most of these backpacks, I don't think. The Titan AA missiles I do. I need the Mruds and the PFM-1s. I need the 9K38s as well. We are on islands, and the enemy is oh so fond of their air support. Anything I can do to the TACSAC grip? Fascinating. Truly fascinating piece of kit. And get some of the night vision stuff as well. Tell you what that'll do. Garage that stuff, because we're about to come under a very, very vicious attack by enemy troops. That is a helicopter I'm hearing, right? Yeah, there it is. Can't lock onto it because it's too close. You can believe that. Oh, and I do believe the AI runs out of ammunition eventually, so giving them custom loadouts definitely helps. Which you can do as well. Again, the roleplay opportunity for this is truly, truly massive. Problem. The attack is already underway. Did I leave any AT weaponry in here, or did I take all of it out? Should have left some AT capabilities. Okay, they are surrendering. Okay. Don't look now, but there is an enemy APC nearby. I thought there'd be more sort of an aerial approach to this, but that's just an APC. A bit of professional advice: don't leave the area if you are trying to defend the. If you're trying to defend the comms station or the outpost or whatever you're trying to defend, don't leave the area. Get down, get down! Animations. Didn't have time to get down. Well, there you go. That's us for now. Everyone's dead, everyone's injured, and there is a tank as well, and we don't have any AT. So, don't try and conquer this on the highest aggression known to mankind. But, for example, that's one thing you can do. This is, like I said, very early on in the game. Eventually you get tanks, you get all sorts of stuff, but with the right combination of mods, and I am just using some of the top stuff you have in the Steam Workshop, nothing special, stuff like RHS, CBA, ACE, etc., etc., you know, like nothing overly interesting. With it, you get, first of all, stuff like the weaponry that you saw, you know, thousands upon thousands of rifles, launchers, guns, etc., etc., pistols and everything, and, you know, armor, camouflages of all sorts of different patterns, anything you're interested in. But then on top of that, you also get a bunch of different vehicles. And so I can tell you right now, some of the things I can buy from the black market, provided I have enough money, and it does take tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for some of those things. But like I said, some of the things that I can buy: a HIMARS MLRS, a cruise missile launcher, Sea-Wiz anti-aircraft battery / machine gun thing. Of course, all the main battle tanks of the Eastern and Western blocks combined, from your T-72s to your T-90s, Leopards, Abrams tanks, etc., etc. Anything you want can be acquired here, and you can use it. You know, provided you have enough money, you can use it any way you want. And And we'll show you this as well. Let me just respawn. Also, on top of all of that, if you have a supply truck, a repair truck, and a refueling truck in your garage, just sort of sitting there, they are a source of infinite ammunition, repair, and fuel for the entire faction. Meaning, you open up the garage, and I just have the repair truck. I don't have the other two, but I found this gunship, which was a complete wreck. It was on, like, I don't know, I want to say like 5% health or something. The main rotor was gone, the engine was gone, the fuel tank was busted, everything was damaged. Put it in the garage, you take it back out, and it's fully repaired. Because that's just how the mod works, right? So you can capture a bunch of enemy equipment and repair it, not the least of which is one of these things, with tow missiles attached to it, as you can see. And the amount of pesky little sabotage things that you can do is nigh on infinite, right? I mean, you can also use fast travel if you mind having to jump from place to place in your own transportation, which I think is pretty useful, especially for single player. But you can spawn one of these things, fast travel it over here, and well, maybe this is not a good spot, but like fast travel it somewhere up here, park it atop the mountain, and fire off a couple of tow missiles at the airbase. Get them all riled up, and then back out. Roleplay, right? Hit and run tactics, etc., etc. And, well, for one, it partially works in the terms of the overall grand campaign. But then on top of that, it's also just incredibly fun to go on little mini missions like that you make for yourself. And then, there is the whole, you can get in an aircraft or a helicopter, and the amount of stuff you can do is truly amazing at that point, from attacking air bases and stuff without actually conquering them, just going there to grab the equipment, weapons, vehicles, whatever you want. Quick raids into different spots, and I don't know, you can go the more insurgent route, shall we say. Let me just grab a loadout. You can go the more insurgent route as dressed up as a civilian, and you can lay down mines to target a variety of enemies of the cause and of the movement, shall we say. And so, yeah, it's freaking awesome. And I just wanted to showcase that, because, yeah, it's awesome. Sorry, I've got a sort of lost my train of thought and don't really know what else to say, I'm afraid. But, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Single-Player Arma, Antistasi. And if you've gone through the campaign of Arma and you're not a member of the community, or your community isn't just as active as you would like it to be, this is a very viable thing to do. The sense of progression you get from it, for me personally, is also something that really latches me onto a game like this, because every single town that you take and garrison is yours permanently, right? Well, unless the enemy attacks it, and then you can't defend it. But the idea is, it's pretty permanent. That vehicle you destroyed back there and captured, damaged and then captured, yeah, it's in the garage. It's yours permanently. Unless you lose it also permanently, right? And so that sort of sense of progression and building up the resistance and the guerrilla fighting force, or the insurgent fighting force, if you will, is really something that I well and truly love. And if there are certain aspects of the game that you want to get better at and practice, here's a fun way of doing it with little mini missions without having to actually, find a custom mission set or a custom, a map or anything to practice. What I mean by that specifically is, if you want to get better at sniping, capture some sniper rifles, grab a sniper from over here, and then find yourself, for example, again, I love this particular little hill because it overlooks the airbase, set yourself up over there. That's probably a bit close for long-range sniper rifles, but maybe you can set yourself up over here and find some shots down there, or go from one end to the other across the sea, even better, right? Or across the bridge over here, or maybe from over here all the way to the airbase up here. Although that would be one heck of a shot, wouldn't it? Yeah, that's more than 2 kilometers away. Well, if you want to go for it, you have the tools to do so. Same with, I don't know, grenade launchers, missiles, guided munitions, artillery. Yes, you can practice with artillery as well. And you can load up any of the mods that you like, or disable some of the ones that you don't. For example, there is advanced ballistics. There are those mods that tweak around with artillery, so you have to do all the aiming and calculating manually. You can practice that as well and see. And then on top of all of that, where did I put the button? Here, right? You have access to Zeus. Yeah, on top of all of that, you have access to Zeus. And if you want to heal some of your friends, unfortunately, I don't think you can do that. But you can spawn an enemy chieftain, for example, and just as easily delete it. And I don't think you can delete vehicles and stuff that have been spawned in via the garage or spawned in by the enemy AI and their sort of campaign and stuff, but a free camp is also pretty interesting at times. So there's the LAV returning to the airport, having accomplished its objective, yeah? Well, 2 objectives, technically, and because we're capable of doing so and willing, we can also, for example, spawn a T-72 to greet it as it's coming back. Interesting stuff, right? You can also do the same thing, just without the crew. So you can spawn stuff like this empty, and say T-55A. And you can get this tank, and you can drive it around if you don't want to have to go through the trouble of actually capturing stuff like that. But I go easy on the cheats, just not something I personally enjoy. However, if you want to, it is a viable way to play the game as well. Same goes with your MiGs and T-28s? Yeah, whatever that is. C-130s, your helicopters, etc., etc. Fascinating stuff, all of this, let me tell you. Anywho, this has been Arma. Single player. In the Antistasi mode. Now, how do you actually open this up? A bunch of tutorials online, but the best way to do it is to host a local server. So you're technically playing multiplayer, just you're the only one here, right? I genuinely think that is the best thing you can do for yourself. It just works better as a server rather than loading it in as a single player scenario. But regardless of how you choose to do and what you choose to do with this, how you choose to do it and what you choose to do with this mod, mine has been just to showcase it for you. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gents. I will see you all next time. Until then, have fun, take care, and bye-bye. Can I actually put it down? Oh. Yeah, you can also put down a Scud launcher. Because of course you can. Of course there's a Scud launcher. Oh, God. Well, anyways, exit Zeus mode for a second. Not my preferred way to play, but you can mess around with all of these things as much as you want, and it provides a cool little sandbox for you to do all that stuff. Anyways, hope you learned something useful. If you played single-player Antistasi or played multiplayer, well, tell me what you think about this, stuff like this. Would you give it a go in those times where you really want to play the game but there's nobody online, and playing on the server of your choice solo just feels a little bit wrong and a little bit off, right? And sometimes ends up doing more harm than good for the campaign, and you don't really want to mess around with your friend's save, so let me know. Anyways, have fun. Until next time, and take care, and bye-bye.